All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I got a big one lined up for you today. So in just a second, we got some new economic numbers in, and they are bad. Not only are they bad, they're bad even though Trump is trying to rig the numbers. So just imagine how really bad they are. So we'll talk about that. We also have Trump and Hegseth absolutely bombing in front of pissed off generals. That's amazing. I didn't know that this meeting that they were doing with all the top military officials, that they would be stupid enough to fucking record it. But they did, and it like streamed live on CNN, so we're going to have a field day with that one, so buckle up for that. Then we'll get to Trump's government shutdown explained. We are officially now in a government shutdown. I'll tell you exactly what that means. So some big stuff going on right now, guys. Then we also have Zoran cooking Netanyahu on CNN effortlessly without even trying. And later on, Crystal absolutely bodies Tommy Lauren in a debate. That's an incredible clip. Now, go watch the whole thing. I'm not going to cover the entire thing, but the parts we're covering are juicy. So we'll get to that. And then Israel was caught paying influencers, and wait until you hear how much they're paying them. It shows you how desperate they are and how much they know that everybody hates them. So we'll cover that and more. You guys know the drill. Everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. That, of course, helps out big time and costs you nothing at all. By the way, I totally forgot to mention live on air that we crossed 2 million subscribers. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. I don't really follow the numbers all that closely, but Lilith had texted me a few days back and was like, hey, congrats on 2 million. I was like, what? Oh my God. Yeah, we hit 2 million. That's incredible. So much love to all you guys for supporting the show, for subbing to the show, for clicking that bell icon so you can, stick with the show long term. I really appreciate that. And thank you to everybody, of course, who supports this show on Patreon. We can't do it without you. Remember, this is real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser, never done an ad read, never talked to a billionaire or anything like that. I'm very proud of that. You guys made that possible. Without you guys, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And so thank you again. If you give $5 a month, $2 a month, $7 a month, every little bit helps. That link is below if you'd like to help out. And of course, you guys can sign up for Crystal, Kyle, and Friends below as well. We have some awesome interviews coming up. We have Ken Klippenstein this week to talk about his bombshell reporting that Trump is trying to ban any sort of sentiment he doesn't like. Anti-American, anti-capitalist, anti-Christian, anti-racist. All these sentiments, it's going to basically land you on a government watch list if you believe in these things. So we're going to go deep on that. And of course, also sub to Corin's World while we're talking about it here. We do live Kyle and Corin episodes over there all the time, Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, without any further ado, that'll about do for the shameless plugs. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So guys, let me show you this. About 2 weeks ago, I did a segment that was titled "The Economy is Flashing Bright Red." And in that video, I walked you through the evidence at the time that we are on the brink of an epic downturn, a colossal, monumental downturn. And guess what? That's exactly what's happening. So the evidence is continuing to pile up, and it's only getting worse by the day. So we just got some of this that came in. I'm going to walk you through it here. So first, take a look at this. This is a segment on CNN. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins says the U.S. farming economy is in a significant challenge as farmers struggle with the impact tariffs are having on their livelihood. So again, Secretary of Agriculture, some Trump hack, and even the Trump hack can't spin it. They're like, hey man, this is really, really bad. Just how bad is it? Listen to this.
New this morning, U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins says the U.S. farming economy is, quote, in a significant challenge as farmers struggle with the impact tariffs are having on their livelihood. It's been 5 months since President Trump announced his global trade war. As a result, China, the world's biggest soybean buyer, is now refusing to purchase American soybeans, instead turning to countries like Brazil and Argentina. That export alone was worth nearly $25 billion last year. Over the weekend, Senate Majority Leader John Thune said farmers will need a bailout this year.
So most of the soybeans, $25 billion worth, that U.S. farmers grow, it was going to China. Then Trump decides, let me do a stupid trade war and piss everybody off. And China goes, okay, bet, we're not going to buy soybeans from you anymore. So they go to Brazil and they go to Argentina and they buy their soybeans from there. And U.S. farmers are left sitting there with their dick in their hand going, what the fuck? Now all my livelihood is now gone. And so you have farmers like literally begging for a bailout because they go, if you don't if you don't hook a brother up, if you don't help me out, well, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. I can't afford to keep doing this. I'm done. It's over. And so Trump didn't think about any of this, didn't care about any of this when he launched his global trade war and pissed off all of our allies and then made them retaliate against us. And so this is one of the downsides. Now, did you notice what else they said there? That Argentina is one of the beneficiaries of this. So stop and think about it. So Trump pisses off China. So China goes, okay, we're going to buy 0 soybeans from you instead of $25 billion worth. Then they go, we'll buy some from Argentina. Trump now is going to also bail out Argentina. All of this was avoidable if you just didn't do a stupid trade war. This isn't fucking rocket science. But no, he starts the stupid trade war. He's going to send $20 billion to Argentina for a bailout for them. And then any potential bailout for U.S. farmers is an ancillary thought. It's not the first thing on his mind. But even so, literally all of this could have been avoided if you just fucking didn't start the stupid trade war. So an entire market was cooked in this country because of Trump's trade war. Now imagine what happens when all of the effects of the trade war take hold. Imagine 17 different markets in this country go completely belly up because Trump pissed off all of our partners. And that's where we're heading. That's where we're heading right now. So it is, there was a message that was sent from the Secretary of Agriculture to Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, his phone, and somebody was able to sneak a picture of it because Scott Bessent was at some committee hearing, some government meeting. And basically the Secretary of Agriculture was saying Trump got played like a fiddle by the Chinese government. Like they're cooking him right now. They have him checkmated and he's too stupid to even realize that. So now you're going to bail out Argentina and bail out the farmers. And as you're about to see, the broader economy is absolutely fried. So let me continue here. Look at this. This is a wild fact. U.S. Google searches for bankruptcy lawyer are the highest they've ever been. Damn. So that means even higher than 2008, which was the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession. So we might be looking at something above and beyond a recession. So remember, in the previous segment we did on this, I believe we hit a record number for help with mortgage. More people Googling help with mortgage than even 2008. And now it's also bankruptcy lawyer. So if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. But let me continue here. So we also have this. New economic numbers that just came in. U.S. private companies, they say unexpectedly, it's not unexpected if you watch this show, but unexpectedly lost 32,000 jobs in September, well below expectations of gaining 52,000. So they say we lost 32,000. It was expected that we gained 52,000. Going in the wrong direction. This marks the largest drop since 2023. Meanwhile, August private payroll number was revised down from a gain of 54,000 to a loss of 3,000. I called that. When we covered those numbers at the time, I called that, and I told you guys, ain't no way that this plus 54,000 number is going to stay there. Ain't no way. They jerry-rigged it however they could to get to that, and then when we get the revised numbers, they absolutely are going to go down. My only concern was because you have, paid Trump hacks that are in these positions, that maybe they'll continue to lie about them and never release the actual numbers. The fact of the matter, it might be bigger losses than just 3,000. It might be a loss of like fucking 100,000, and we just don't know. But the reality is that no matter how you slice it or dice it, it's ugly right now. So they continue. As of now, this will be the last jobs report we received this week. Friday's jobs report will not be published as long as the government shutdown continues. Now, stay tuned because I'm going to do a separate segment in a little bit on the government shutdown and exactly what that means. But for now, let me just keep giving you the horrific economic news. Now, let me also dive into this. Trump comes out the other day and does this big announcement. We're doing something amazing on prescription drugs, something amazing, let me tell you. And then he said, we're going to launch this Trump RX thing. And if you go to the Trump RX thing and you sign up, you'll get cheaper drugs. We made a deal with this company and we're working on one with Pfizer. And you're going to get cheaper drugs, folks. You use Trump RX. Ready for this? The art of the drug deal. Pfizer may funnel up to $500 million to the Trump organization via Trump RX. If anyone is still in doubt that Trump is personally and politically funded by Big Pharma, here's the proof. So he announces this big deal to lower drug prices. And the lowering of drug prices is him getting a massive cut, slapping his name on something and getting a massive cut. And in theory, we don't even know the specifics and the details. In theory, lowering the drug prices a little bit for you if you sign up to make him get a giant payday. The most corrupt regime in history, and it's not even fucking close. Hey, here's an idea. How about you're president of the United States and you lower the fucking drug prices anyway without getting your fucking beak wet like a mafia boss? How about that? That's what you were fucking elected to do. But instead, it's, oh, I need to get my beak wet. I need to make some money, and then maybe I'll be able to lower it for you. But you got to sign up for my thing, get on my email list, let me exploit you. This is the idea. And then, by the way, remember, he's running around like crazy, trying to take credit for all of the drugs that were reduced in price by Biden. Remember that? The insulin, $35 insulin. Trump was like trying to jump in front of that parade and take credit. Meanwhile, it was not him in any way, shape, or form that lowered the price of insulin. This is what he does. This is fucking disgusting, man. This is disgusting. Most corrupt regime by far. It's not even close. This alone should be something that's impeachment worthy. But unfortunately, everybody's fucking brain is broken and their morality meter is broken. And they don't realize the historic gangster-like times that we're living in. All right, let me give you some more. You want to talk about corruption? How about this? This is pretty unbelievable. Qatar giving Trump that jet is really paying off for them in a big way. So if you remember, Qatar said, we want to gift you a jet that's worth $400 million. And the idea was, oh, he'll use it as Air Force One now, but then when he leaves office, he'll still be allowed to keep it. It's crazy. This is crazy shit, right? Well, as Barack Ravid of Axios points out, as part of the initiative to end the war in Gaza and as compensation to Qatar for the Israeli attack on Doha, President Trump signed on Monday a presidential order that dramatically upgrades the U.S. commitment to Qatar's security. This is an unprecedented security agreement between the U.S. and an Arab country. According to the presidential order published today, the United States will regard any armed attack on the territory, sovereignty, or vital infrastructure of the state of Qatar as a threat to the peace and security of the United States. The order further states, in the event of such an attack, the United States will take all appropriate and lawful measures, including diplomatic, economic, and if necessary, military measures, in order to defend the interests of the United States and the state of Qatar and to restore peace and stability. So, giving Trump a $400 million plane, this is what that'll buy you. You want to use the U.S. military as your pawns in your fights? Sure, why not? Let's go right ahead. You gave me a $400 million plane. Why wouldn't I send a couple kids from Arkansas to get their heads blown off? Yippee! This is fucking gross, bro. This is gross. But by the way, if we want to test this theory, let's test this theory. It is the case that Israel just illegally attacked Qatar to try to take out some Hamas officials. So, hey, as per this agreement, Trump, I guess you got to go do regime change of Netanyahu. Right? Are you going to be on top of that? You going to do that? I didn't think so. But this is incredible, man. Again, it's not even hard to connect these dots. They're not even bothering to try to hide it. He's gotten away with everything, so now he's just being more and more and more and more brazen. I hope there's some top-notch lawyers out there that are literally keeping track of every single crime that this man is committing, because that list is absolutely endless. All right, still not done. Let's talk about this. There's no construction jobs available in America. So much for reshoring. So this is currently what's happening with construction jobs. Absolutely tanking. And you were warned, every expert said this at the time when Trump launched this trade war, there is a 0% chance that this leads to reshoring jobs. 0% chance. The opposite is going to happen. Trump was already shutting down factory jobs that were coming here because of Biden's laws, right? Because of the CHIPS Act, for example, and the infrastructure law. There were all these things that were creating good paying jobs here. Trump cut off the funding, thereby killing about 800,000 manufacturing jobs. But beyond that, the tariffs made it so that the raw materials to build a factory make the price go up, right? And so all these factories that were going to be built here, they said, we can't afford it now. We're not going to build it anymore. So this is the result. Construction jobs absolutely, positively collapsing. All right, I'm still not done. The hiring rate for the trade and transportation industry is at 2008 lows. And Spencer here says, are we in a recession? We absolutely the fuck are. I think there is no doubt about that. No doubt. Just in, gold hits $3,900 for the first time in history. Record high for gold. Again, why? Why is that the case? Because it used to be when we were in a rough economic situation, the flight to safety, as it was called, is to the dollar. So people around the world would buy up dollars knowing hey, this is the safest place to be because this is the world reserve currency that everybody agreed to, right? So whenever there's an economic downturn, the dollar gets stronger. This is how it's worked in the past. Well, now, Trump made the entire world hate us. Nobody wants to be on the dollar as the world reserve currency anymore. Nobody trusts us. So now, the flight to safety is to gold. And so gold is skyrocketing because investors realize and people are realizing, oh, there's going to be a massive downturn, and I want an investment that's more steady and more stable in economic downturns. And every time there's an economic downturn, there's going to be a flight to safety, and that's exactly what we're witnessing here. Record high for gold. Record. All right, and then also, let me wrap it up with this one here. Key economic data suspended during the government shutdown. Jobless claims from the Labor Department. Non-farm payrolls from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Consumer Price Index and Producer Price Index from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, retail sales, factory orders, housing starts, trade data from the census, Employment Trends Index, GDP data, new home sales and construction permits, export and import trade data. The next Fed meeting is 4 weeks away, and we are entering a data freeze. Historically, the Fed shifts more dovish on average during a U.S. government shutdown. So this we're sort of in the dark now is the point. We're sort of in the dark now because of the government shutdown. Also because, as you know, Trump is like pumping the brakes on reporting any data because he knows the data is going to be bad. So he's going to, hey, everybody just shove your head in the sand and let's pretend like there's not this big downturn happening. He wants to control the narrative, even though that's going to be woefully inadequate given that people are already feeling the hurt and they're only going to feel the hurt more. So this is not good, bro. This is very, very bad. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.